let's get to this Robert Sarver thing because it is very, very interesting. So if you go back to when this story came out, of course, like so many, and there's always the denial. Hey, this is, the threats of lawsuits. When our Baxter Holmes, I believe, broke this story. By now, I believe if you're a sports fan, you've heard the findings of it, that he dropped N-bombs, although his out in his mind was, I was just repeating something somebody else said or something else was heard. I think we can understand some form of context to it. But there was all kinds of like sophomoric behavior bordering on and maybe surpassing the level of sexual harassment or whatever. My point last week was I'm okay thinking he's not a racist, right? Like, okay, you don't have to be a racist to be this dumb. You can't possibly tell me that you're a league full of some really bright people. I don't think that Adam Silver has done the world's greatest job as commissioner. I think oftentimes he's been a puppet for the players. And because he hasn't pushed back against the players, it's allowed outsiders to have a perception that it's a completely players-run league. It's completely left-leaning. It's this, which is, I don't believe the reality. But the one thing that I will tell you is, having talked to him, talked to people around him, heard all the things he said, he's a brilliant guy. This is not a guy who's an idiot. It's a brilliant guy. And I think what he was able to accomplish in this whole thing is true leadership and intelligence. Like, Robert Sarver's out of the league because the sponsors were going to pull out. And when the sponsors pull out and the money stops coming in, and then the players go, I don't want to play for him, and the fans don't want to show up, and it regardless of, and even his statement today in this unforgiving climate, I wanted to make amends, but in this unforgiving climate, like, dude, you can't even apologize the right way. Right? You can't even apologize the right way. So what happened was, last week, Adam Silver said, it's really kind of out of our powers to make him sell the team. Like, I can't make him sell the team. And LeBron James wanted to push for a vote from the other owners to have him. Draymond Green said the exact same thing. But I don't think that was where they won today. They won because once PayPal, who was their sponsor on their jersey, once they pulled out, once they said they don't want anything to do with the Robert Sarver owned team, it was a fait accompli. It was over before it was over. By the way, fait accompli, probably my favorite. I'm trying to think of probably that and carpe diem. Those are like two of the three Latin expressions that I know. Et tu brute is the other one. But I mean, that's brilliant. I have a good friend who he used this term, and I use it with social jujitsu. You guys, somebody writing that down? You're writing around social jujitsu. What is jujitsu, right? Like, you're moving, and you use people's weight kind of against them, only almost in like a judo sort of way as well. Like, you're using their power and their punch kind of against them. That's what Adam Silver did. I'm not gonna make you sell the team. Nope. No, I'm gonna suspend you. I'm gonna let it sit out there for a little bit. I'll let the sponsors determine. We'll let the Coliseum decide. Right? Adam Silver he didn't do the thumb up or the thumb down, like the thumb up as he lives, the thumb down as he dies. He just did the thumb sideways. And the Coliseum, the people decided. Thumb down. Feed him to the wolves. Now, look, he owns 1/3 of the team. It's estimated $1.8 billion. Those suckers aren't selling. I know we're going to a recession, and it's going to have to be a ton of cash, but I'm guessing it's not selling for less than two and a half, probably, right? $2.5 billion. And then think about his 1/3 cut of it. It was bought for $440 million, so he had to throw in $150, $200 million somewhere along the lines, right? And he's going to walk away with somewhere in the neighborhood of $900 million himself. Like, $800 million profit. Like, he can wipe his tears away. But he's persona non grata. He's out of there's only 32 teams. He doesn't own any of them. And he's not going to own any other professional sports team. And he's basically humiliated. The Coliseum decided. So I'm very sensitive towards people labeling other people. But based upon his actions, repeated actions, in a prominent position, you're not smart enough for this game, dude. That's it. If you don't understand how your behavior affects not just other people, but how people view all the other owners, right? Because what happens when this goes down? Every other owner is deemed a misogynist, racist, sexist pig, even if they're not, or if they're a woman. Jeannie Buss. So I thought this was brilliant maneuvering by Adam Silver, who I've been fairly critical of in the past. There are things they've done which I don't agree with. Sides he's taken, times he's laid out, hasn't been strong enough. This was one which took a deft touch, because what the owners didn't want is they don't want the league going in and saying you're in, you're out. They also don't want other owners outing people. They don't want to go into anybody else's cell phone or personal business. Nobody wants all that. You open up anybody's closet, there's going to be a skeleton that falls out in most people's deals. Like, how did Jeannie Buss get control from her brother? This isn't about partying. This isn't about being a good time guy. This is about being that guy that is so over the top and trying to be cool, trying to be funny, just obnoxious. That's who this guy is, and nobody wants to deal with it. And it validates all the stories that you had heard, not just this story, but other stories leading in. But Adam Silver, using social jujitsu, pulled this thing off.